And from the University of Texas, number 35, Kevin.
Here is Durant for the win. Way outside.
Durant makes his move.
Durant fires. Bang!
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. That's it.
I know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant.
Whoever did that edit for the Rockets, sick. Kevin Durant will officially wear number 7 for Houston after the league record 17 trade was official over the weekend. Whoever had to do that bookkeeping, I hope you get a little vacation. The Rockets, the Suns, the Wolves, the Warriors, the Hawks, the Nets, and the Lakers. They were all involved in the blockbuster deal that ended up with 6 players, the draft rights to 7 2025 picks, 7 future picks, $3.3 million in total cash getting swapped. Now that the dust has settled, though, KD, he jumped onto social media and he posted in part this: "My time in Phoenix has come to an end. All of these stops along the journey, they've really impacted me in a positive way. It's all a family that I'm grateful to be a part of, no matter what. I truly believe this NBA is one big community. Much love to Arizona. Houston, can't wait." And Rockets general manager Rafael Stone, he spoke yesterday about what KD brings to H-Town.
He's Kevin Durant. You know, I think he's really good. He's super efficient. He had a great year last year. So, I mean, he's obviously he's not 30 anymore, but he hasn't really fallen off. And we just think, we think he has a chance to really be impactful for us. Our goal is definitely to win a championship, but I don't know about the window opening or closing or whatever else. I think it's way too early to talk about championships other than, for obvious reasons, that's our goal.
I'm excited to see Houston have KD, but I get even more excited when I get to say howdy to our NBA reporter, Tim McMahon. Howdy, partner. Tim, we just heard GM Rafael Stone. He said it's way too early to talk about championships, but Kevin Durant, he's going to be 37 when the season gets underway. So do the Rockets really believe this, or is this a little bit of the OKC didn't say the word championship at their media day last season?
Howdy, Malika. Listen, it's way too early. Oh, you like that? It's way too early for Rafael Stone to sit up there at a press conference and pound his chest and plan a championship parade. This trade obviously was made to open up a potential championship window for the Houston Rockets. This is a team that was a 2 seed last year, despite being mediocre at best offensively, despite having a glaring void when it came to that go-to perimeter scorer. Jalen Green, talented, but he was consistently inconsistent, flashes of brilliance, but peaks and valleys. Kevin Durant, you know who he is. He has been a certified bucket since you were in elementary school, Malika. He's still one of the most efficient volume scorers that we've ever seen in this game. They're still big, they're still tough, they're still deep. They're going to be a dominant rebounding team, an elite defensive team, and now they have a Hall of Famer instead of a hope he can as the go-to guy.
Not a hope
yes, the Rockets are realistic championship contenders with this trade of Kevin Durant, and that's the whole reason the deal happened.
A hope he can as a noun, McMahon, is pretty wild.
I'm going to be absolutely. Thank you for that.
Quite effective. Look, I have a ton of respect for leadership needing to be patient and strike all the right notes. But to me, this sounded like scared money don't make no money. To your point, it is obvious what this team is trying to do right now. And I think the way you maybe dance around it artfully, if you want to do the PR thing, is you look at the steps Kevin Durant has taken in his career, and it has never not been about putting the team in the best position to win. And then, of course, you do the dance about the rest of our team and trusting Ime Udoka and how we're going to grow this season and put our best foot forward. But yeah, everybody know what time it is when you add this guy to a team that was number 2 in the West. And I actually think that being bold and affirming what you're trying to do on a daily basis, particularly for those young guys, helps you stay locked in on the prize.
But OKC just did that, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, but they didn't have that Kevin Durant veteran there. They didn't have a Fred VanVleet. I mean, I guess you could maybe put Caruso in that category, but he's not old. He's just older than them.
30.
Right. He's just older than them. And so to me, this is when you go out and go get Kevin Durant. They had this well-chronicled decision to say, I want to keep this young team together. We want to grow. And then they lost to the Warriors in the first round.
And what did they lose with? They lost with not having a go-to guy down the stretch of those games to put the ball in their hand and say, go get us a bucket. That's really what we need. Now you have the best scorer, the greatest scorer in my eyes of all time on your team in Kevin Durant, Brian.
Yeah, so there's some nuance here, okay? I know that it's hard always to see nuance. I don't think that the Rockets looked at this situation and said, now is the time we're going to go for it. But they loved the price on Kevin Durant. They thought, if we can get him for this price, we're going to get him, not because we think we're only going to be contenders for the next 2 years. And again, there's nuance within that. I don't want to imply that they got him for cheap. They gave some quality players and the number 10 draft pick, Maluach, who could end up being a really good player for Phoenix, but they really liked the price here. And so that, I think, has to be considered. They went and got Durant because he was the best thing they could have ever gotten for what they gave up. But I also think that they have learned from Oklahoma City. Sam Presti, what did he come out and say 2 years ago? We've got to finish our breakfast. They won 57 games and had the #1 overall seed. And then he was like, let's talk about lunch. So I think Rafael is very savvy. He's done a really good job building this team. He does not want to put parameters on it, but he also couldn't say no to getting Kevin Durant at that value.
Right, so maybe Rafael now will say, let's just finish our brunch, and then we can kind of go on.
Bro, if y'all don't go out there and try to win a championship, stop playing. Let's go.
I mean, they're going to go out there. They're going to go out there. They're going to go out there and try to win a championship. In this Western Conference, you mentioned it, Monica, they were the number 2 seed already. You add Kevin Durant, what does that equate?
Come on
we
now.
can all sort of see what the tea leaves are spelling here. It isn't that difficult. The spotlight certainly is going to be on Kevin Durant and the Rockets next season, but the summer spotlight, it's currently on top 5 pick Ace Bailey. He debuted after all that jazz for the Jazz in Salt Lake Summer League, and here's how it went down against the Memphis Grizzlies here. Early in the second quarter, Jazz trail by 14. Bailey grabs a rebound, steps back out.
Okay.
One-legged shot, off to a pretty good start.
Dirk Nowitzki kind of shot.
Trail by 9 here. Isaiah Collier pushes it up. Ooh. Bailey, the vicious alley-oop, showing off some of his athleticism that we talked so much about during the draft. And then later in the third, Bailey fighting for the rebound here and throwing it down with authority.
He told us all through the draft process that rebounding is the thing he hears from his aunt and mom when he's playing ball.
And clearly he was hearing it here and also feeling it hitting the three. 18.7 rebounds in his second Summer League game. And while Bailey balled out last night, it was number 3 pick VJ Edgecombe that stole the show over the weekend in Salt Lake. The Sixers lottery pick poured in a game-high 28 points, highlighted by some rim-rattling dunks here as well. He grabbed 10 rebounds, dished out 4 assists. He swatted 2 shots in his debut with Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Excited here for what they're seeing from the number 3 pick. Tim, you were in the building to watch both Edgecombe and Bailey here. Your biggest takeaway watching those two was what?
I mean, the takeaway with VJ Edgecombe is this guy is going to step into the NBA as an elite athlete, even by NBA standards. And he didn't have the most productive year at Baylor where the floor's all clogged up. But if you watched him with the Bahamas, where he was playing on a team with DeAndre Ayton, with Eric Gordon, with Buddy Hield, a team that came 1 win away from that itty-bitty island's first Olympic bid.
Yeah.
There were times where he was the best player on that team, where he was the guy who was getting crunch time shots. He's not scared of the moment, and you talk about a turbo button, the ability to elevate. He can get to his spots. He can get shots when he wants. He's really impressive. Listen, when I was there Saturday night, it was not like an overwhelming performance by Ace Bailey. He struggled offensively, 8 points on 3 of 13 shooting, but the Jazz were pleased by what they saw, and that's because he competed. He